All right, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. As you guys can see here, my guest tonight is Carbon Q. She is a prepper channel, which is interesting considering the name Carbon Q. You wouldn't have an idea, but nonetheless, her prepper channel is it's cool. And again, it's laid. Listen, anybody's channel is laid back in comparison to mine. But anyway, ma'am, let everybody know who you are and what your channel is about.
Hi everybody, how you doing? It's Carbon Q. My channel is about prepping in any stage of it. When I started prepping, I looked at a lot of channels, and it was some were way advanced and some were just beginning. So I just started where I started in my prepping, and hopefully, when you get there, you see something and you don't have it, it'll spark something in you to start prepping for yourself and have a guideline to where you have to go. Hi everybody, how you doing?
Very good. So I have to ask you this question. I should have asked Vancity Prepper for this one, but what made you start your channel?
What made me start my channel? I would have to say a regular gun guy. My two-way family. He kept pushing me. My other friends, which were Info Tactical, Fat Guy with Guns, My Five Family, and a whole lot of other people from my two-way community that just was like, you listen, you really got to start doing this. You should talk about this on your channel, because I usually talked about it on a regular gun guy's channel. He had a couple episodes in regarding to prepping, and that's really where I got my start talking about it on his channel. And then I kind of moved over to my channel.
Oh boy. Sorry, dog just walked in here. He's nervous. He heard some thunder.
Same thing with mine.
Yeah, he's gonna start flipping out in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
That's very good. Now you keep saying two-way community. What does that mean?
My two-way community, as we discuss firearms, it's everything about two-way and your right to protect yourself. And I'm for it.
Okay,
Like, I'm sorry, right?
sorry.
So it's really a great channel. Has a lot of people in there. You bring a lot of new people in that may not know too much about firearms or afraid of it. It's a whole community that supports that individual and basically teaches them about firearms and not to be afraid of it. It's really good. And I enjoy being there and the family that's there.
Now it's interesting you said about being afraid of firearms. I'm I'm a little okay. So when I was a kid, we grow up. No, okay, Prepper 101. I thought she said two-way community, not 2A. I heard it wrong. That was my fault. Sorry about that. But I used to think that people just didn't have an issue with firearms. And then I got older and I watched people talk about how scared they are of it. I'm like, so you watch a gun laying on a table, for example, you walk in a room, this is where you have a heart attack because you see something, that's just laying on a desk or a table or wherever it is. And so it's interesting that you said that, people, it gets people over that fear. But I'm like,
Yeah.
how do you fear something that you have complete and utter control over is mind boggling to me.
Well, for a lot of people, it's something that associated with something negative, like you shouldn't have a firearm. And that's a conditioning that a lot of people have. And we're trying to break people out of that habit. If you are responsible with your firearm ownership and you train with the firearm and you acclimate yourself to all the different things about it, you won't be afraid of it. You might actually find it enjoying. And that whole sense of being able to protect yourself is an amazing feeling.
It definitely is. Listen, I wouldn't know because I don't have any firearms because,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, guess where I live, right? New York City.
Right.
Um, it, it's it's yeah, it sucks. So when I go to states like when I was in Kentucky or Texas, visiting other states, I'm going to West Virginia in a couple of hours, or I'm leaving in a couple of hours rather. It's awesome to watch other people walk around with guns on their hips. You're like, that is awesome, watching other people just not even be who they are, but being able to carry something that's going to protect you and possibly stop something if anything happens. Here in New York, we don't have that option. We have harsh language, and maybe you get to throw some, water bottles at them or some shit. But that's about as violent as it gets here when it comes to citizens. Now,
Right.
criminals, as people know, they got carte blanche, man. They could do whatever the fuck they want. Um, wow, you're getting a lot of love on here.
Yeah, that's my two-way family.
That is awesome. Now,
Yes.
listen, what was the catalyst for you to get into prepping?
Oh my gosh, when the pandemic first happened and people were fighting over toilet paper, I've never seen anything like it. That just that one little thing sent people into a whole frenzy. I was like, this is crazy. And then they went into like a mild lockdown or curfew, I should say. That was another red flag for me. Like, if they can just do this over something small and we're not prepared in the house, which we weren't at that time, um, we need to get on board with being able to survive anything or be ready for anything, such as a lockdown where you weren't able to go to a store or DoorDash wasn't even able to come to your, deliver you some food. If you didn't have food in your house, if you didn't have certain items that you're going to need for however long that you were going to be locked down in your house, that's a bad feeling. So from there, I just started watching a lot of YouTube channels, and I realized there's a whole community of people that just prep for this and been doing it for a long time. And I was right on board with them. Like, yeah, absolutely. I'm with it. Hmm.
It's I find it interesting. You mentioned you actually started prepping fairly recent, and listen, it's a good thing that that woke you up, and hopefully it woke a lot of other people up, and people like, whoa, this is crazy. I can't get X, Y, and Z. But
Yeah.
there is something interesting happening in China right now. I just saw a video today. I don't know how old the video was, but it seemed recent, and it what I people, sorry, were reacting in this video like animals. They were attacking each other, getting into fights in the supermarket.
Yeah.
Somebody had somebody had their phone and they're panning the supermarket, and there's nothing on the shelves. And there was a comment in the comment section, the only comment I could read because it was in another language, but they were like, I guess their population is getting bigger than the food source they have. Now, I would love to meet a Chinese prepper, like a prepper who lives in China. I think that would be awesome to me. There's got to be somebody. I mean, but
Yeah.
the fact that they're running into this problem and other countries are running into this problem, it is in our better interest as, I guess, humans and Americans to prepare, right? I mean, did the pandemic scare you, or did it just make you concerned?
It more made me concerned. I wasn't afraid of it as yet. It really didn't hit me that this could be a way of life until the last year or so. In the
Okay.
last couple months, I really realized I made the right decision to start prepping and getting things that I need to survive, not just, nuclear or anything like that, just everyday occurrences, power being knocked out or, a tornado or a hurricane, just anything can happen and you just need to be prepared for that.
Now, do you have in your area? Is there a lot of blackouts, or is it time to time?
Yes, as my area is a high flood area and power outages.
Oh shit! All right, that
Yeah.
sort of sucks. No, that really sucks. I wouldn't even say it sort of sucks. That really sucks.
It really does.
That's yeah. I guess that's a bad deal. Now, what? No, not what. Do you have a bug out plan? Are you ready to, I guess, hunker down, or are you ready to leave?
I'm ready for right now. I choose to bug in, but I'm actually making plans with some of my family in Atlanta to head out there if it gets any worse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, listen, anything is better than
Right.
well, up here, right? Up in the fucking East Coast,
Yes.
well, it's funny because this is a big city, and a lot of people who live in big cities, their initial knee jerk reaction is to bug out. Me personally, I'm on the fence. I'm like, it depends on what happens. It's going to dictate whether I want to go. I think, like when I was talking about
Right.
EMPs in that video, I think if I had discovered that was going on, I'm gone. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going to wait to see what happens next. I'm like, oh, let's see what's going
Right.
on. No.
Nope.
If you're single and you
Hmm.
don't have family, maybe you could ride that storm. But if you have family and you have kids, you can't ride that storm. You got to bounce.
Yeah. Even if you're single, you have to figure out that you now become a target.
Yeah.
You're one person, and if you have stuff, it's so easy to take over one person and just take whatever they have or break into their house. So even single people have to really, either link up with a community, a mag or whatever you want to call it, just people that you can go to, so there's safety in numbers. So yeah.
Yeah, that's that
Mhm.
the definite truth, man. There is safety in numbers, but because
Mhm.
look at gangs, right? They
Right.
run the streets deep. They beat up people in groups. The last time I saw a one-on-one fight is like I don't know when,
They still do that.
yeah, yeah, occasionally. And if it's a one-on-one fight, it's like two old dudes from the '80s,
Yeah.
someone like my age that's still trying to get it
Right.
in. But listen, guys, thank you, Don, for pointing that out. Guys, if you haven't already, please do me a favor, head over to Carbon Q's YouTube channel and subscribe to the channel. I know you guys are liking what you're hearing. Listen, being that she is more of, and I like the fact that you're a more recent prepper and you started a channel and you let something like the pandemic concern you to a point you're like, nah, fuck this, I'm getting ready. And then, with that, you start a channel and you're going through the steps. So that's really good. Your channel is probably really, really good for beginners because you guys can grow together as you get to the point where you get to whatever that point is.
Right.
As far as you being a prepper, what is your end game with prepping?
I don't think you ever stop prepping. There's so much to learn within that community. Right now, I'm trying to work on canning and growing my own food, which is the reason why I'm trying to get to Atlanta. But for the meantime, I'm going to grow inside my house. There's grow bags. There's so many different options that you can utilize in between times. You don't have to have a backyard. You don't have to have a lot of land to grow some food, especially where inflation is going with food prices and things like that. You have to be proactive in your survival. So if you got to get those microgreens and put them on your window and just let it grow there, go right on ahead. Get you some grow bags and grow your vegetables. You may not have meat, but vegetables can sustain you. It's better than having nothing. You should be prepping with your freeze dried meals. Canning, I think, is amazing. So I can't wait to just delve into that. And there's options. You have to make yourself available to it. You have to want to survive. It's your responsibility. It's not really anybody else. Don't wait for the government because they're not going to do it.
Listen, man, that was an awesome answer. It's good that again you're coming up with solutions. Like I said with Vancity Prepper, right? We had the conversation.
Mhm.
You're coming up with solutions to your problems, and that's what most of us do here in the city, right?
Yeah.
We think of all the things that can happen, and we try to come up with solutions for it. Now, interestingly enough, the easiest solution for us is to leave, right? That's the easy solution. And I'm not, a lot of us are not leaving just because we're prepping and we want life to be better.
Yeah.
We're probably leaving for different reasons, but it's great to have that problem solving knack, if you will, for situations. You just sat there and said grow bags. I
Yeah.
would have never in a million years thought of grow bags until you said it. Yeah, until you said it, I would have been like, what you call it, a bucket with some dirt and grow some potatoes. I would have never. Yeah, somebody just said it. Prepping for it just said it. Grow some potatoes and lots of them. That's
Yeah.
what I was planning on doing later this year. Was growing potatoes in my house, but I never thought about grow bags. So if I can get that one past the wife, we're definitely going to give it a shot.
It's on Amazon. You can get them cheap. And I actually learned that from looking at other prepping channels. Lead Farmer 73. I mean, that man is a jack of all everything
Right.
that you want to know about prepping. But he was the one that was talking about growing your greens and things like that. And I learned so much from him and then the people that was in his community. All of that falls into an umbrella, two-way, green community, prepping. We're gonna need each other just to make it through. So jumping into these people's lives and listening to their content and getting something from it. Don't worry about all the other stuff. If you get one thing from it, that's a beautiful thing. Take that thing and run with it. See where your deficiencies are in your prepping and plug it in. Get involved with it. It might take you a minute because prepping is expensive or it can be expensive. But if you really pay attention, you can MacGyver certain things and get, not have to pay that much on this end, but you might have to pay for something like your Berkey water system. You don't want to play with your water. Your water is life. You have to, you need it for your food, your hygiene, just about everything. So that is something that you want to spend your money on. But get involved.
Nice. I like that. I'm still stuck on the grow bag part though, but
That's
uh,
great.
listen, like a lot of us, we prep and we buy so much gear, and I don't know how your gear situation is, but I know a lot of us, man, out of control. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna take it. You consider yourself an urban prepper?
I do. Yes.
Okay. Do you have a storage unit, or do you put things in like a garage or something?
I have a two-bedroom, so I have one room that's just for prepping.
Oh shit, nice. A room like that.
Yeah.
That's definitely so. Um, being that you learned a lot from YouTube, I never heard of this. What's his name? Lead Farmer.
Left Farmer 73. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You have to check him out. He's amazing. And the amount of information that he puts out, and he shows you. It's not like he says, "Oh, hey, this tactical knife, just put it in your bag." He's like, "This is a Blue Eddy. This is what it does." He plugs it in, he shows you how it works. He works it with other generators. If it's anything to do with gardening, he's showing you how to grow trees, how to do a whole lot of things. And it's just not him, it's his community that puts in so much into it as well. They give each other such great advice. So when you're watching it, it's not just what you see visually. Actually, him and his wife are doing beehives. They have their own beehive, which
Really?
is thing, right? Yeah. The community is just great. And I think in every community that I've been in so far, the prepping, 2A, in the green community, everybody's just so helpful. Whatever question you have that you may not know, there's somebody inside there that can answer or guide you through it. So you just have to make yourself available to it. So, shout out to everybody that's just putting out content to help people live a better life.
Yeah. Like I said, I never heard of this. People like he's awesome. I'm like,
Yeah, he really is good.
and he actually popped first.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like he's getting people into looking at RVs right now. A
What do
lot
you
of
mean?
people are the RV
Yeah.
homes because people are losing their homes from the pandemic. They started kicking people out. It's an option. If you do have to bug out, you actually have a house on wheels.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I got to give his channel a definite look, guys. I dropped Lead Farmer 73's link in the chat, so if you guys don't mind taking a look at it, apparently a lot of you guys knew who he was. It's funny. This whole YouTube thing. There's so many people out there, and like again, some of these people I never heard of. Like I said, I didn't hear about you until recently. Uh, Vancity Prepper was another one I just learned about. Angry Homesteader, I was following her for a while, and still following her, but didn't know much about her other than like a lot of her videos that she was doing. So there's so many fucking people out there. It's hard to keep track of all of these channels, man. It's like it's insane.
Yeah, we need to be a network amongst each other, and you know, when like on your community post, just shout another channel out. Two or three people, and it gives people an opportunity to jump into other people's lives. That's like, look, you've been doing this for a long time, and half these people you haven't heard of as yet. If we start sharing those things and sharing the knowledge that each other have, it'll help a lot more people. Shout out to Pepper Tribe because I know he's the reason that you found me.
Yes.
Right. So I appreciate his channel, Just Josh, PTOV, all of them. I think backwards, they are just amazing people. Nisi, I just love her to death. Such a sweetheart.
Yeah, these and it's funny. When you start a YouTube channel, at
Mhm.
least and I'm going to talk, I guess, about my experience. But when I started this channel, I knew that there were a few channels out there. Back when I started 10 years ago, right? It'll be 11 years this year. And I remember not many channels out there, and
Mhm.
all the channels that I watched, they were all guys that lived, in the house in the suburbs. And
Yeah.
when I started the channel, I was one of the first urban preppers out there. And now there's so many, and I think that's awesome. But you are right. We definitely need to pass the word along on
Yeah.
other channels out there. I mean, like Lead Farmer, he's got a nice following, but
Yeah.
still, I never heard of him. If I could learn some shit from him, hell, man, it was all worth it. I think, yes, I definitely think
Mhm.
need to be, and I wouldn't say necessarily tight, but I definitely think we should be sharing at the very least knowledge with one another.
Absolutely.
Again, like you did today with the, I'm still stuck in that rollback shit. There's grow bags. I'm like, now I have to ask permission for the
Mhm.
wife because she's like, she's tired of my shit. Every- She gets mad. She comes into the living room. She's like, "What the fuck's going on here?" I'm like, "I'll square it away before I leave." I'm not.
Yeah, perfect can be messy if you don't have a lot of room to put things in.
Oh yeah, big time. It's like yeah, it's a war zone in here. But whatever. That
Mhm.
is what it is. Now, as far as prepping goes, what is your favorite book? Whether that's a how-to book or fiction.
So my favorite one was the survival. It's a really thick one. Which is it called? The Ultimate Guide to U.S. Army Survival.
Oh yes.
Was my first one. It just taught me so much, and I just loved it. I just leafing through it and seeing how to set a trap, and I'm like, this is crazy, but I loved it. My second one is some one that I just got recently, which is the survival medicine book, which I thought was a great addition to it because after you survive whatever, you can patch yourself back up or somebody else back up. So I think that went hand in hand.
You survive a shooting. You're like, let me patch myself up real quick.
Definitely.
Yeah, like I just bought that book the other day too because of Canadian Prepper. Right, Canadian Prepper was talking about the book, and he said that there was not a shortage. Sorry, that they were out of stock on their website. So I go, let me see. I go on Amazon, and they had like a ton of orders on it. A ton of books available. So I bought one off of there. I think that a lot of these books, though, they're definitely and definitely will come in handy at some point. Kevin,
Mhm.
thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. And Donna, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. But as far as fiction book, have you read any yet?
Any fiction? You had mentioned one, and it's actually in my Amazon cart because I actually like the book itself, not the computer
Okay, all right.
one. So I'm just waiting for that one come out. What book was that you mentioned? I can't look on an Amazon to check it out, but you were talking about it. You said it was your first book that you read.
Oh, 1 second after.
1 second after,
Oh,
yeah.
listen. Aside from prepping,
Hmm.
it's an awesome read. And I think book 2 and 3. 2 is okay, a little slow. Uh, I haven't got to 3 yet, but 1 was by far the best. Like the best, and I wouldn't call it a prepper's book as much as it was just a good story, and it got you thinking. What would you do in that situation? What would you do in such and such situation? So it gave you, sorry, it gave you an idea of what you would need to do. But you'll definitely trust me. You'll get to the halfway point of the book, and you won't be able to put the book down.
Good. I like great books.
There's a there's a ton of books. I mean,
Yeah.
I have like a shitload that I was just buying like an asshole because I was like, oh, I want to make sure I have this and I want to make sure I have that under control. And I was that guy that you first start prepping and you just want everything to make sure you're covered. Uh, and you come to find out the apocalypse didn't happen yet, and you have all this shit. So
Right. And like sometimes you need to just step back from the prepping room and go outside and take a walk
big
and go just do something other than prepping because it can be a lot to take on all the information that's going on. But health and exercise is such a big part of prepping, and I hope that like you started the channel Angry Fitness, which I think is great, and there's a couple other people that are doing it too. But you can have all this stuff, but if your health and you can't physically carry or maintain your own body weight, holding it up or whatever, you're gonna be like crap out of luck. You really have to you
big
really have to take some time and get yourself together.
big time. It's funny because I'm watching. I've watched people put on these bug out bags, walk
Yeah.
up hills, walk up mountains, and
Mhm.
get to the top and ready to die. And I'm listen, I am not, I'm not in like the best shape of my life, but I told these people, I'm like, now what if we had to fight? What if you got to the top of that hill and some shit went down right now, and there was another group we had to go against, and for whatever reason, we were using our hands. I said, let's just take the gun out of the equation. How the hell are you now going to be effective if you're face
Right.
down on the ground, fucking sucking in dirt? Like,
Trying to
well,
get your breath right.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, they're like, I said, but it's not gonna. I said, we don't know. That's why you stay ready. You stay ready so that you can react. But listen, the prepper community, Canadian prepper can attest to this. A
Mhm,
couple other channels that can attest to it as well. Prepper community don't want to hear about fitness. They just don't. You know, they wanna they want the guns. They want the gear. They want to grow their food,
mhm,
but they don't want the other side of that that's going to extend their life and even have them battle ready should they be in that position. And that's
mhm.
fitness. But a lot of people don't want to hear it
I
because
think a lot of them are coming around though. I think now that people no longer look at preppers like conspiracy theory theorists or crazy people or hoarders, they actually are looking at them and being like, what do I need to start doing? I think a lot of people, and especially with a younger generation coming on board with it, people are understanding. Yeah, gas prices. A lot of people are not trying to drive, so they're walking or they're riding a bike. That's an exercise. That's something that they're going to have to do. So I think it's going to change a whole lot because I've already seen a lot of people that are taking their health more seriously, especially with the pandemic. It kind of basically started from there. People started watching what they eat. They started exercising more and just trying to fight not getting. You know what? It's going to trickle into this too. Gas prices alone.
yeah,
I'd rather walk than pay almost $100 in gasoline. That's just insane. So
uh,
I think people are turning things are turning around. People are no longer living in a bubble and saying, it's not going to happen here because it is happening here. It's happening all over the place, and I don't think there's any place that they can walk in and not realize that something's off. You walk in the grocery store, things are missing. Extra high when you go at the cash register. It's like I used to pay $100 for this, now it's 150. It's clicking. People are waking up, and I'm so thankful that it is. It sucks that it's doing it right now, but yeah, it's not just your food, it's your housing, it's it's so much that's going on that people have no choice but to get their heads out the sand and start being proactive in their survival. Don't be reactive. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, 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 no. You can keep talking. That's fine. It's great when a guest, uh, talks. But it's funny because I do see a lot of people prepping,
Yeah.
but I'm also noticing that people are becoming comfortable with this lull, right? So now we get into this point in time where, for example, the media is not mentioning what's going on the other side of the world. They're not talking about how people are racing for food there or going to be out of food probably by the end of this year. They're not talking about water problems that other countries are having. So we, right, not preppers, but like Americans, if you will, we're in this bubble where we think, yo, you know, everything is good because people walk around New York City with their head up their ass or in the dirt, whatever you want to call it. They're not looking and noticing what's actually going on, which is, it's dangerous to one point, but the other side of that coin is like, well, fuck them. That's 300 less people I got to deal with because they're going to be ultimately screwed because they're not doing anything to change their situation. They're complaining about it, maybe they're getting used to it, most likely, and then when the hammer drops, they're just going to be like, oh shit, we didn't see this coming. And I guess because I live here in the city, I
Yeah.
see so many people lost, not lost, but not paying attention, and they don't want to wake up to what is actually going on. If you tell people there's a food shortage coming, people are like, nah, it's temporary. All right, gas prices are going to go up. Well, it came back down 5 cents. All right, forget it. Like they don't want to. There's a lot of people out there that don't want to listen.
That don't. And I think, okay, I understand what you're saying, and to a point, I think it was like that. Being on YouTube, you kind of get to see different things from different points of view all over the place, right? Whatever state it is, there's somebody new every day popping up with get your cans, start prepping, get these things. And I think I see that because I spend a great deal of time just going through different lives and watching people change. You see a lot more women are prepping and putting videos up about it. Young, old. everybody's getting into it. A lot of your retired military are coming on, and they're showing you how to do defense for your home or tactical things. I mean, when you sit here on YouTube, because YouTube is kind of like worldwide, everybody's on here putting on some type of content. And when it comes to prepping, you kind of see a lot of people getting into a lot more. Like when you first started, you hardly saw it. Every time I log on, there's somebody new, or there's somebody else that's talking about somebody else. So to me, it's a little bit different the way I see it. Every time I get on here, I find somebody new. I see another channel. I see, a single mom that's prepping. There was GA prepping, and she had a bunch of ladies on there, and they did new mom prep with everything for a new mom that they may have. It's people are prepping from every point that you could probably think of. You just don't get the time to see it when you're busy. And for somebody like me who's new and just searching, I see it different. I see so many people doing it. I see the gun community do it. I see the gardening community that's getting involved into it. Not just gardening, they're actually tapping into other prepping channels. Like a lot of them are here right now, and they're prepping as well. They're getting their radios, they're getting their bowfangs. It's kind of it's beautiful to see, because the more of us that are ready to deal with it, the less crazies we have to deal with if we're all on the same page.
That is true.
Communities can get together, and whatever you don't have, you can barter with one another. But if you don't have anything to bring to the table, you're going to be one of those people that's going to become desperate at one point, and somebody might have to take you out your misery because you didn't prep.
Very good.
Right.
Very good. Hit and buy. All right. No, it's looking at the chat. The chat's going crazy tonight. It's pretty good. Pretty cool. So, it's funny because on YouTube, I do, again, like you said, I notice new preppers because people like yourself or Tribe, they're like, oh, you should take a look at this dude. You should take a look at this chick. I'm like, all right. And you're right. There are more people prepping. But when it comes to city people, I run a group here called NYC Preppers. And I'm going to tell you right now, half the people are not committed to.
Wow.
Yeah, and listen, I'm talking about, forget it. Let me people in the group don't even want to come out to certain things now, certain events rather. Sorry, and it doesn't matter what the event is. You just don't see that people taking it seriously. Now there has been an influx of people coming here, but to the group. But also, even with the Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, there's also he'll see a little bit of he'll see a boom at one point, and then he'll see a smaller group of people show up. Now, yes, people could be busy, but I find it interesting that again, I just like I said, city people, they just don't take it too seriously. Even people in the group, which I'm surprised with all of this shit going on, with the threat of all of this shit, I thought there'd be more people wanting to, do some shit, make a difference, start their own group, for example. It's like there's none of that. But you're right, there are more people waking up to it. Maybe I want more people to rush to it, because we all see where this is headed. I think we all agree that every last one of us on the chat, on YouTube, without channels or no channels, we see where this is going and the direction this is going in. I just think that there's going to be a lot of people, millions, with their pants around their ankle.
Yep. I mean, it's gonna happen. Not everybody, you can lead them to the water, but they're not gonna drink. But at the end of the day, the more people that we get on board, I'm all for that. If you take an interest in your survival, I'm all for it. I'm right there with you. If you don't, again, this is why you need some sort of defense. Some people don't like guns, but there's other ways to defend yourself. You need to acclimate yourself to those things as well, because it's going to come a time where those people who don't want to listen are going to be the ones at your door, and we're going to deal with them one way or the other.
They're going to be like, I remember Carbon said that she was doing X, Y, and Z. She was growing stuff. Let's go over there,
Right.
And yeah, that's always going to be a problem no matter where we are. But I have a question for you. Being that you seem diplomatic, because I'm not, right? There's a point where I'm just like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
You seem more diplomatic. How would you handle lazy people in a prepper group?
Um, when you have lazy people, you just, you can try for a minute with them. And once you see that, to me, I always ask myself, if your survival is not important to you, then it's not important to me. Because there's about 10 other people here that's doing a lot of work and they need that attention. I can only, again, bring you to a certain point. You have to do some of your own work. You have to make yourself available. You have to go look at videos or take a class, learn how to do CPR, stop the bleed. Shout out to North Florida Tactical. He has an online, in case you can't get out, you can go online and just learn basic things that you may need at some point in time. If you don't want to do that, if you just want to sit here and be like, oh, the world is fucked up. I'm sorry, the world is messed up. All right, and wait for the sky to fall and you don't do anything to help yourself get through that fall, that's on you. There's a lot of other people that are doing it, and I choose to spend my time with those people. I want to build with those people. I want to connect with those people. I want to have I want to be able to say, even if I'm stuck here in PA and I have a family member in Atlanta, I have a whole group of people in Atlanta that could say, hey, listen, my sister's in a bad way, can she come over there? My sister has common sense. Whatever you have, you bring there. You don't just show up, bring something to the table. But I have a source, or a connection, a group of people that I can, trust with my little sister. That's what I want to create. I want to be able to make moves even though I'm still stuck here. And that's how people should be looking at this. Network together, be your own community, be your own security, be your own source of food, or knowledge, or whatever the case may be. It's a lot of people that have a lot of knowledge in different areas. Tap into those people, become friends with those people. You never know when the pipe bursts and there's nobody here to fix it. You can call somebody on the phone. Listen, I'm gonna FaceTime you. How you fix this? Simple things like that. You might need that sooner or later. You're a firefighter. When things happen, like 9/11 happened, you weren't able to get to other people. So if somebody had a fire someplace else, you better hope you had a fire extinguisher in your house or a blanket or something. You
Yeah.
have to be prepared for everything and anything.
And you're right about that. It's funny how, you know, again, and going back to the group, I've watched so many different dynamics come through the group. And I've watched other groups here in the city, here in the vicinity, and I'm talking about the outskirts of, let's say, Jersey, Long Island, different groups. I watched a lot of them crash and burn. I watched a lot of them, thrive. But
Hmm.
one thing that I noticed with the crash and burn groups is it was ego that killed their group. Now, how do you deal with egos?
I cut you off. I don't, once I feel that you don't have anything, if you're not teaching me anything,
Uh,
if I can't learn something from you and vice versa, I cut you off. Why would I allow that to waste my time or my energy when there's so many other people out here that can be feeding me something good? I keep my circle very small, and I like it like that because it cuts out nonsense. I'm not here to fight. I'm not here to fight against anybody. I didn't make up prepping. Prepping's been going on for years. I'm just here to learn. So whoever could teach me, I'm with it. All of the negative nonsense that takes a backseat to what's going on in this world today. Like, if somebody smacks somebody, that's not going to help me put food on my table. I don't care about that. I don't care who doesn't like this person from who doesn't like that person. That has nothing to do with prepping or teaching me how to stitch a cut. You know what I'm saying? Anything, grow a herb. I don't know, anything like that. That's so trivial to me at this point in time because what is coming is coming. I don't know what people are gonna do or what they're gonna bring to the table, but they better get going with it. You better have something besides. Guess what I heard yesterday? Nobody cares about that. That's not gonna help you do anything. Like, stack some water. If that's the only thing that you can get, water is a big deal. If you could bring water to somebody and you don't have any food, I'm guaranteeing you'll have some food by the end of the day. We have to grow past this ego stuff and all of this backbiting and all of this, oh, look what they're doing. Look, pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to what you have going on in your life. If it doesn't feed you, if it doesn't put money in your pocket or food on your table, why do you care? You know?
Exactly. And then it's funny because that's the thing that we saw most within the community, probably like a year ago or so. And I'm very now standoffish, not standoffish, but cautious with people I meet on YouTube and shit like that now. So I know in the real world, like the group that I run here in the city, I told people before, I'm like, listen, you might not like my attitude, you might not like the way I say certain things, but I said, if you're going to take something away from here, take something away from here. But if you don't like it, guess what you can do? Start your own group. And that's the other thing. Like, but people like, well, I just rather follow other people. I'm like, that's not how the fuck it's supposed to be. You're supposed to become your own leader because guess what? When the shit is on, when the chips are down, your family or whoever you're supporting at that time is going to look up to you and be like, yo, we need you to get us out of this situation. Right now, I can guarantee you, if some shit went down, your family's looking up to you. They're probably going to be calling you, whatever it is. Like, what the fuck do we do next? Right?
Mhm.
That's what the prepper community is. And don't get me wrong, if some shit goes down, I might be calling fucking Hudson Valley. His name is Mike.
Right.
Calling Mike to be like, yo, what are we doing next? Or I'll call old Mutt, who's up by him as well. I'm like, yo, what's the next plan? We're going to be sharing what the fuck we're going to do next before we actually jump into action. But that's because I trust those guys. Like those are guys that I will say it on here, and
Mhm.
maybe it's not watching tonight, but I do trust those guys in my life. I train with them. I've been with them, and those are dudes that I have no problem getting down with. But there's so many other people out there, man, that they're ready to stab you in the back, and I mean like hard. And again, we've seen it. So now that I started identifying it and identified certain people, I'm like,
Right. Mhm.
fuck it, I'm out of. I'm not trying to get into the drama bullshit anymore,
Right.
but try to get involved with people like yourself, Vancity Prepper, Angry Homesteader. Nice people, calm people that are like, uh, from what I've been seeing and watching,
Mhm.
real as they get.
Thank you. Thank you. I understand how you feel. I feel that way about my two-way family. Um, they were my first introduction to YouTube, period. And I grew so much just dealing with them. And these people I would do anything for. They're if I know I have a problem, I can call them. And it's not just like few people, it's a whole bunch of people that I can call. And when you get those people, you hold on to them. That is your core group. When things get crazy or when you're fussing with somebody, there's always somebody in that group that's going to be like, hey, you gotta let that go. That's not important. You're working on this. Stay focused on that. So if you have that with your group of people, hold on to those people. Don't get me wrong. Like I will lay somebody down in a minute. I don't have a problem doing that.
Right.
I would like to see what the problem is first. If I see that I can't get anywhere with you and you're just stuck in this negative energy, exit stage left because I don't have time for it. I don't. So,
Very
but the
good.
more you get to know people, the more you might see a different group of people coming through, and you might learn to trust some other folks.
Yeah, that's sorry. I'm reading some of the chats. Bobby C, that's not yeah, that's old shit. We're not going to talk about. And yes, there is no Alamo in the basement. Somebody made a comment about that. Um,
Yeah.
but listen, again, it's
Hmm.
it's people that are going to bring this community together. And you know what I've been watching? I've been watching Peaky Blinders. All right, it's a really good show on Netflix. If you don't like the Irish accent or the heaviness of it, you got to put the subtitles on because it's pretty good. But watching that show, man, I'm watching the intricacies of teaming up with your enemies or teaming up with people you don't like. And I'm like, yo, how the hell do people do that? How do they find that middle ground to team up with people they do not like? Because I know in the prepper, let's say the shit is on and the chips are down and it's just us left because guess what? We were prepared. How are we like I can get along with almost anyone.
Hmm.
If somebody rubs me the wrong way, I'm usually um never wrong about it as far as my interpretations of them. Usually. Sometimes I am. But how do you negotiate that, right? There's a group you don't like. There's a group you like. Those motherfuckers are shady, but we have a common enemy. It's this motherfucker over here. How do you handle that in that aspect?
You have to take emotions out of that. If you're trying to eliminate an enemy that both of you have no choice but to work together. You know, you throw a white flag on the field between whatever it is that you're beefing at, and you speak about it. Listen, we get it. You don't like us, we don't like you, but both of us don't like them. So we're gonna have to work together to eliminate that. Then you can go ahead about your business, and I'm gonna go ahead about mine. Find a common ground. The common ground is the enemy, right? The other person. If you both want to get rid of them, if your leaders or whoever it is that's running it are smart enough to understand that this is a win-win for both of you, then that's how you move forward. That's how I would.
That's a great answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, me personally, man, I just I've taken emotions out of a lot of shit lately, and I'm just like, man, whatever. You know, it's sort of like what Kid Rock said. You can't cancel somebody that doesn't give a fuck, and that's how I operate now. I'm like,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter what you throw at me, I got it under control.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people definitely have. Oh, nice. All right, guys. Carbon Q needs 67 more subscribers to reach 1,000.
Well, thank you.
Let's get it there tonight. This should be fun. Fun.
Thank you
Let's
so
get it
much.
there tonight by again. I know you guys are liking what you're hearing, and guys, subscribe. This is I have to be honest. This is one of the for a again. Excuse me for saying this, but for a newer prepper, you have a lot of it figured out, which is good. And it seems like you're going to try out a lot of shit and you're not going to fail much. You'll probably fail in certain areas, but not all. But it's interesting just to hear somebody new speak the way you speak because shit, man, it took me years to get there. It's a lot it took a lot of trial and error, man. There's a lot of preppers on here who will contest to that. It took them a long time to get to a certain point. Now,
Mhm.
you do you attribute that to all of the stuff you've been reading and watching on YouTube, or is this a lot of this is also life experience?
Um, Both. Life experience teach me to be like how you had said, F everybody, it's just me. When I got into my 2A community, um, I sat back and I watched them for a while, and the way they rally together, you know, to do something for somebody else, to make sure that they were secure, you know, just people branching out on their own and starting their own pages, whether it was in 2A or another you know, content or whatever. It was good to see that. It was good to see that you they would support you even out off of YouTube. You can call them and they were still available. They will still be like, they'll stop what they're doing and be like, yo, what's up? Are you okay? Tell me what's going on. People I've never met in person before, but they were invested in you to the point where you become invested into other people. When I go to other people's channels, whenever I can, I like to support them because I know it's not easy making content. I know it's not. It takes away from your family. It takes a lot of time to do the research. Then you have to buy the equipment. Same thing with the 2A. Same thing with the gardening community. These people are taking everything that they have and they're basically pouring it out to you to get up off your behind and do something. So I try to return that back to anybody. They poured a lot into me, and I feel like I have to do the same when I come in contact with other people. Some people will be like, "No way, something's wrong with this girl. She's out," you know, like there's no way you can be this nice. I really am. I am a generally. I love people. I love to see people grow up. I like to nurture people. That is something that I've just always been. And when somebody takes time to nurture you and help push you to get to where you gotta go, I appreciate that. So I try to give it back to anybody that I come across that I feel deserves it. If you don't, you know, I'll send you on your way, wish you the best, and I keep it moving.
Very good. All right, guys. Let's see. Someone just said it. Someone just said it. 5 more to go.
Oh, thank you so much. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Someone just said 5 more to go.
Oh,
All right,
wow.
guys. Let's get it there. You know what? We're gonna get it there before the end of the night. It's not.
Thank
It's not a problem.
you.
But that is good. Colleen, thank you for the donation. Appreciate it. Like I said, man. you know, interviewing people again like you and the other guests, just Josh.
Mhm.
It it's refreshing to talk to again real people who are actually nice. You know, like I tell people all the time, I'm a son of a bitch. I can be an asshole or I could be the nice guy. It depends. But when you have like genuinely nice people who want to help the community and not get back much from it, that speaks volumes. So, and I think that's what the prepper community needs. It needs more of you guys on here and not just you know, the fear mongers, money grabbers, people are looking a name for themselves, trying to get in the mainstream I don't want to say media, but like, you know, mainstream TV with their channels, always pitching ideas. There are channels out there that do that shit. And you know, and there's nothing wrong with it, but if you're using the prepping community as a stepping stone, that becomes a problem. And I think enough people do that at times. Alex, thank you for the donation. Appreciate it. But again, this is the kind of people, or you guys are the kind of people I want to know. Like just Josh, man, I think he's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's again another guy I didn't know about until Prepper Tribe, you know, put me on to him. By
Great.
the way, guys, subscribe to Just Josh's channel and
Yeah.
Prepper Tribe. You will not regret it,
Yeah.
especially Just Josh, man. He's really he's animated, but he's
Mhm.
awesome. And his attitude works well for his channel. Vancity Prepper, that's another one. She's a great. That's somebody that I'm gonna learn a lot from just watching a lot of her shit. Uh,
She's
again,
when
and
she went back to go fight the bear, I was like, I love her already.
yeah, she's like, yeah, she came back with the gun. I'm ready. I was like, okay,
Shout out to her.
yeah, no, it's a whole new level of fighting. So it's and I learned stuff from all channels, which is
Yeah.
interesting. You know, like I don't let me personally now, I don't let my ego get in the way from learning from a young channel or a new channel at all. Because when you guys showed me some shit again, the fucking grow bags, I'm going back to that. I'm like, wow, now I could do buckets and a grow bag. You
Mhm.
would never know. And I learned that from a newer channel. So it's always good to learn from everyone. And as soon as you think you know everything, I think that's at the point in time you legitimately became an asshole.
Yeah.
We had that. We have. It's not a saying in the fire department, but if you are a fireman or a cop or an EMT or a doctor, and you sit there and go, "I know everything,"
Mhm.
that is the point in time you officially became an asshole, and it's time for you to retire.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, retirement fucking sucks, man. It really does. I mean, I don't know. You know,
It took me a minute to get acclimated to it. Just it was double for me. It's from going from a high pace job to a high pace city to one that was very laid back. I could not sleep. It was so quiet. It took me a long time just to get to it. Now when I go back there, it is so noisy. I did not realize the noise level in New York was so daggone loud. I'm glad I left.
and it's bad, right? It's like it's the drip from your neighbor's apartment 3 floors above you. You're like, why the fuck can I hear that? You know, it's all
Yeah.
these little things that the cat meowing in the fucking alleyway. Yeah, it's insane when you do camping out in the woods.
Yeah.
But then there you can hear everything as well. You know,
Mhm.
fucking chipmunk is crawling around, sounds like a fucking mountain lion. You know, it's like all these little things. But it listen, I can't wait to get out of the city myself.
Yeah.
You know, the city doesn't have anything to offer anymore, so
Yeah.
it's definitely time to bounce. And lucky for you, you bounced at a great time. You know,
I kind of saw the writing on the wall as far as New York. Not prepping because I wasn't into it at that point. It was just going a whole different direction, and I didn't want any parts of it. Yeah.
yeah, I hear you, and get this right. You would have saw the writing on the walls. I mean, listen, we saw De Blasio go in the office, and I'd already knew what the fuck was happening. I'm like, oh, we're fucked.
Yeah. It's
We are
crazy.
so screwed. 8 ways of Sunday. It's not even
Mhm.
funny. And then look where we are now. Now, you know, I mean, you're out of the city now, but
Mhm.
you know, I think Adams handed the key to the criminals. He's like, here you guys go. You guys have carte blanche
Yeah.
because it's insane now. It's officially worse than it was in the 80s. And I don't know if it's because of all the shit we can see now, with the surveillance cameras everywhere and iPhones all over the place. I don't know if it's that, but it seems like there is way more crime than back then. Those they'll say the stats say otherwise, and there is a lot more violent shit happening now than there was in the '80s when we were, when we were growing up.
Well, when they closed out a lot of the mental health clinics and places, and they just turned these people loose on the street, um, crime was is definitely going to get worse. You have people that are untreated walking around. Anything is going to happen. They're unpredictable. The loss of jobs. The pandemic put a lot of people in a position where they lost their way of making a living. All of that creates a lot of crime. Doesn't matter what you do. These people are desperate. Some people don't even know like what day it is. They're just out in the street. Like people need help, and they're not getting it. The wrong people are getting the help, and the people that should be getting the help, they're not. They're getting the short end of the stick.
Well, it's funny. Psych patients, right? So when I used to be an EMT 20 fucking years ago, I remember, every night on the ambulance,
Mhm.
we'd we'd roll into the morning. So I would get off around 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and you see the same lady and dude on the same street corner, hollering some fucked up shit, like Rosie O'Donnell, she's really sexy, crazy shit like that. And you're like, all right. And then at night, you wouldn't see them there. You're like, so these people are actively going home at night. Like the sun goes down, they're like, well, I gotta go home. And then they go home or wherever they go. And then they come back out in the morning and do the same shit over again. I'm like even psych patients have a working clock, if you will, right? They have a regiment that they do every day. But the way it is now, it's like you said, it's unchecked and they need help. But what kind of help do you give people that can't be helped? Right? You know that
Mhm.
they take the meds for a long period of time. The meds start to wear off after a while. Over the years they've taken it. So then at what point do we just say, fuck it, back in the home you go? Or do we even build homes anymore?
We should have a place for them to go. If you can keep them in a place, you can continue their medication. There's no break in the medication. They can get treatment. They can go through a series of different things to help them get acclimated back to some sort of a routine that's a good routine, not a bad one, that'll help them survive. But they're going to need some type of a system. Turn them loose into the street. You how do you know they're taking the medication? How do you know they're not selling the medication for something, another, a different medication, or for food? We don't know what these people are doing because they're unsupervised at that point in time. We deal with everybody else's problems except for the problems that we have right here, and that is a problem. And we're sending so much over to a group of people that's going through a very terrible time. When you had Michigan right here with the water, and what did we do to help these people?
Yeah, right. Barely anything.
Exactly.
Gave them short-term solutions and a band-aid on a gunshot wound kind of
Right.
solutions, right?
Yeah, it's kind of messed up.
And keep in mind, they worry about a again smaller percentage, a group of people throughout the country, uh, whatever that group of people are, instead of worrying about America as a whole or your city as a whole. It's almost asinine. It's why another reason, people like myself, and I would say any prepper should be leaving the city because it's only going to get worse. Like you said, you saw the writing on the wall.
Mhm.
A lot of us are sort of writing on the wall as soon as de Blasio walked in the office. As soon as he started his, "Yay, everybody needs," I was like, "Oh shit, here we go," And Adams is doing the same thing, except for Adams is, he's worried about vegan food in kids' school, right? Instead of worrying about kids getting shot in the street.
Right, a little past vegan food in the schools. Like you really need to be focused on a whole lot of different other things that are important right now.
Big
There's so much going on. Like I'm not even gonna say anything about you know, the bill passing of this other thing. Like that is not important. We need so much more done right here, right home. And as the people picking these candidates, and whatever you choose to do, if you choose to vote or you don't, like make these people work, make them earn their paycheck, because this is BS. Look at was it Peru? They went off today. They locked them down for 24 hours, and they went batshit crazy
No shit. You
because
know,
of gas prices, food inflation, and their president chose to lock them down for 24 hours. And they were, by when they let them out, I mean, all hell broke loose. And I think nobody wants that, but how else is change is going to come about? Something has to bottom out for this to all turn around. And some days I kind of wish that it would, so we could just start rebuilding.
well, that's the excitement part of it is, waiting for it to bottom out and knowing that when it bottoms out, there are going to be two groups, maybe more, battling it out for who's going to rebuild what.
Right.
And I find it interesting that you brought that up because right now, I mean, listen, we are legitimately in a fight for this country, and I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Mhm.
For those of us that do realize it, it's pretty much the prepper community, the two-way community, conservatives. We recognize this, but everybody else doesn't. And again, like the bill you mentioned, I think if you were talking about the one in Florida, right?
Mhm.
Right. You got that is not a concern for New York's, citizens,
It's not.
right? But yet, Adams was like, "Oh, we got to do something about it." I'm like, "You just had a kid shot in the car, fucking eating dinner, and you're worried about these fucking knuckleheads down there." I'm like, "Yo, grow up!" Like, but again,
Yeah.
you might have been following him about as long as I have when he was a cop back in the days, right? When he started,
Hmm. Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
started that group,
Hmm.
the hundred, what's it, the hundred black law enforcement or something like that, 100 black law enforcement. When he started that group, people were like, all right. And then he just sounded like he was crying about everything and anything. And it shows now when he's mayor because he's crying about the wrong things and not focused on the bigger problems. And he didn't do that as a cop. He wasn't a very good cop, I might add you. And this is coming from a lot of people who knew him even before he got into politics. And now that he's the mayor, he's showing us exactly what kind of cop he was. He was a cop that went after the small problems and not the big problems.
Of
Because,
course.
right, look where we are now.
That's right.
We're getting our asses handed to us by
Right.
criminals every day.
Those individuals are individuals that are going to get put in those positions because they're easy to control. You know,
Yes.
everybody's going to put someplace to have a puppet to do what they want. That the unseen people. I'll say that. See,
Yeah,
it's crazy, but at the bottom line, we are the people, and we need to just start.
taking it back.
Yes, do something because it's our children are the ones that are going to have to live in this craziness that's going to be in a few minutes.
Well, yeah, this is going to be a very long, and the problem is too, and I noticed something interesting. People are moving to where the fuck were they moving to? I think Florida's and the people are leaving New York City
Yeah.
again because of the
Mhm.
crime. People are leaving the city and they're going elsewhere. And I'm like, and these motherfuckers are taking their liberal disease with them and going somewhere else. And they're going to infect that other area with their mindset and their thoughts. And people in other places need to shut that shit down. If fucking liberal Karen from New York City shows up, shut that motherfucker down. If fucking Harry the Complainer shows up, shut his ass down. Don't let these people get a foothold in your community with their left bullshit. You know, and that's the problem. They're leaving California. They're moving to Arizona. They're moving to forgot the other state. There's another right wing Republican conservative whatever to call state. They're leaving there and they're trying to change the shit there. And I'm like, and these people don't realize that they're the cause.
Yeah.
You know, they're like what the fuck's that guy's name in Goodfellas? Everything he touched turned to shit. That's what liberals are like. Everywhere they go, they turn it to shit, and they don't realize that they're the reason why this is happening. You know, someone said Tennessee, might have been Tennessee, but I might have been Tennessee, and then Texas is the other state. Yes, and
Mhm.
they're all in Colorado are prepping by fate. But here's the problem, guys, and for all of us complaining, we can't let them do that, right? I mean, you have to fight these people. Was it the Mush? I thought he had another name. It was like fucking was something. Maybe it was Mush. Maybe
Mhm.
Paul S is right. But anyway, it's this is just an ongoing problem, and I'm surprised that more people are not waking up to it and going, man, did I vote fucking Adams in? It was my fault that the city turned this shit. Let me do something about it. No, I'm going to leave, go to Florida, go to Texas, go to Arizona, and fuck shit up there as well.
Right.
You know?
Leave you with the problem. Y'all handle that.
Yeah, it's just like, we started this. You guys got this. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit. You know, it's funny. My wife was saying it. She goes, Adams is so bad. She goes, people are probably wishing for de Blasio back in office. I was like, damn. When she said that, I was like, holy shit. That was by far the best comment I heard. Because I mean, it's man, I'm telling you right now, if you don't live in the city, it's you remember the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Remember how bad it was. It's insanely oh god.
It gets worse because even in the 80s, you still had certain rules, even street rules. The streets have rules.
Yeah. Yes.
Now it's, anybody could get it, a baby, a young child. You had different rules back then. Right now, it's just whoever, whatever, just, whatever it is, get down, lay down, just get out the way. And
Right.
who wants to live like that.
And it's funny you brought that up because gangs were like, yo, you killed a kid, you were out.
Yeah.
You a kid, you were beat up. I mean, like you hit a baby by accident. They would murder you for shit.
Yeah.
Like now they're like, well, shit happens.
You
You know,
know,
you know what, Eric, you'll get him again later. It's like that. There's no fucking code in the street anymore. It's dead. I mean, it's been dead for some time now. But it's interesting that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys. So we're going to head off now because,
Okay.
well, I got to do some shit. Don't hang up yet.
Okay.
You and then everybody else. I will see you guys. I will see some of you guys Friday with Prepper Nurse 1. We should be doing a live stream that night if I'm standing upright by that point. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys Friday night on his live stream, and I might be doing a live stream later tonight on my drive down.
Okay.
It depends if I don't crash. Well, I'll see you guys then. All right,
Thank you so much for the, what is it, 1K? Thank you so much. I appreciate it, everybody. Y'all be safe.
And for those of you that didn't subscribe to her channel, please subscribe to her channel. Again, awesome channel, as you guys saw in this interview. All right, guys. See you later.
Bye.